Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. I am Nabiha from APU IMAK Students Chapter, Malaysia. Thank you all for being with us today for this Tech Talk on marketing analytics. I would like to welcome our speaker for today, Dr. Mayank Saxena. Dr. Mayank Saxena is graduate in mechanical engineering from Sri Govind Ram Seksaria Institute of Technology and Science Indore and postgraduate in management from Institute of Management Studies Indore. He earned his second postgraduate from Indian Institute of Management Indore in business analytics and data science. He started his career as management trainee from Kinetic Engineering Limited and then shifted to academics at Devi Ahalya University. He had worked as director of business school for 12 years and currently working as dean management at Sage University Indore. Dr. Saxena has published 24 papers as of now in various national and international journals. He had supervised 12 PhD awarded and presented 22 papers in various conferences. He had been part of Board of Studies in Management of various prestigious universities and credited to start new courses. He had been prolific trainer and consultant. He had delivered many lectures in prestigious universities of country. Dr. Saxena, can you hear me? Hello?
Are you receiving my voice, please?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you for
Thank you.
joining us. Yeah, thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you for these nice words and thank you for the introducing me. It's pleasure to be the part of this August gathering. At the same point of time, I express my sincere thanks to the university, the Asia Pacific University, as well as to the center where they are cooperating with the Sage University, Dr. Akhilesh in particular, for providing me this opportunity to interact on this particular topic. Thanks again. And let us start for a few minutes. Say my presentation is visible to you.
No, sir, we cannot see.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Is that visible now?
Yes, we can see.
Thank you.
You're
So
welcome,
the
sir.
topic given to me today is to talk about something on the marketing analytics. There is many recent changes you would have experienced, seen in your day in day out operations, day in day out working in last few years. Many things has changed the way we used to live. Today, I'm talking from Indore, that is in one of the central India, place in central India, and talking to the people sitting there in Malaysia, or in fact, maybe available globally. These kind of the things has changed the operations. These kind of things has changed the way of working, and in the same pursuit, the marketing has also changed. So let us understand that. What has what has have been the causes of the these changes? It's the biggest thing is that of the explosion that had happened in area of the technology. If I just consider it, somewhere in 2002 2003, there was a project being initiated in US that was something about networking of the various servers located internationally, and then a new language was being created in the name of the Hadoop. And after that, there was a birth of the social media platforms like that of Facebook. Another explosion that had happened, it was Android phones, and say the development of the Android, which had made possible to access all these apps through your mobile. These technologies being further being enhanced in area of the some number of the techniques like Bayesian technique to make sense out of the data. To make sense out of the data is they called as the data science. If I just particularly talk about the data science, that is say analyzing the data, say technologies for analyzing the data is being made available here, and that what was the data science. Further, the processing speed of the processors that has gone up multiple times. As they had gone up for the multiple times, it was possible to not only collect the large amount of the data but also use that data, and then the as the interconnectivity has increased, this data was to be used, this particular data was to be used in the real time, and this has made wonders in happening into it. Further, the technology further progressed, and then the computers being taught think like humans, decide like humans, and that was artificial intelligence has come up. All these explosions has resulted into the development of the one of the stream that we call it as the business analytics. This something that is in analytics, if I talk about, is a process of iterative methodological explorations of an organization's relevant data. It talks about the relevant data. It is not the data owned by the organizations. It is something that an iterative process of the methodical exploration of the organization's relevant data means that data was available not only with the organization, but it was available with the other parties also and can be relevant. Here, the social media that had started playing a vital role. Advertising through the Facebook, advertising through the Twitter and the various other platforms that has emerged very strongly out here. Having said that, this relevant data was to be taken out from these all third-party players. They are neither the producer of that particular, say, the product or not the consumers, but they were the third party. They were creating the data, they were producing the data. So data was to be taken out from there and then to be methodically explored with an emphasis on statistical analysis, model development, and visualization. If we do this all, we are talking about the business analytics. Now, this business analytics is there for all the areas or all the functional areas of the business. Maybe HR, maybe the strategic issues, maybe there in terms of financial aspects, maybe there in assessing the risks, and particularly, yes, for sure, it is there for marketing. Now, what this particular methodical exploration or say model development, what it do? It creates the predictions that where you can do or what is something is going to happen. Predictions of who is going to purchase. Describing. It offers a typical kind of the description that if somebody is purchasing, what are the various purchasing pattern of that person or that community. Prescription. If I'm running a company, what shall I do under the given circumstances? It further helps me, the business analytics helps me in diagnosing my own problems. Who is going to be the resigning out from my organization and leaving my organization? Preventing various issue risks that may occur into the situation, and ultimately it is all to be visualized to a manager in his or her own language. So the visualization, if I do this all kind of things, I call it as in business analytics. And if I do the business analytics, it is going to make a terrible impact, or tremendous impact, I shall say, tremendous impact on the way you think about business and the way you deal about the business. And the same kind of the things are probable and possible in area of marketing. So let's have an understanding of how the business analytics is making an impact.
In 2011, we peered into the future and saw the potential for data and analytics to transform the economy. And in some ways, progress has been incredible. Location-based services have generated billions of dollars for companies, and even more value for users. Some companies are using analytics to power growth and move into new sectors. And yet, we see a huge gulf between the best and the rest. In manufacturing, less than 1/3 of the potential has been tapped. In healthcare, even less. In government, it's the same story. Data in different systems has not yet been integrated. There aren't enough data scientists to go around. Not enough managers are fluent in the languages of business and analytics. Companies are struggling to get beyond small experiments and create value at scale. But make no mistake, the data analytics revolution is happening. Technologies such as deep learning are advancing more quickly than anyone anticipated. Prepare for a world in which machines diagnose disease, navigate roads, and understand and respond using natural language. Every sector of the economy will feel the impact. Our 2011 estimates of the potential, if anything, they were too low. The future waits for no one. The biggest risk is being left behind.
If everything is changing, so does the marketing. It was that the marketing in the earlier paradigm, it wasn't say structured process. Marketing wasn't a structured process. You were supposed to do a research on a particular target segment, people, find out what they need, how these needs can be converted into the demands and the wants, further create the solutions for them, psychological solutions as well as the physical solutions. Psychological solutions, they were more towards the targeting and positioning side of a company or a product. Further go ahead with the 4Ps, develop the strategies and create the plans. Now, core remains the same, but then the landscape in which they all were being operated has got changed. Landscape, we call it as market, where these all things happening has got some bit changed. Let's have few minutes in understanding that what has changed this landscape or what the new landscape is all about. One basic difference has come up, that is due to digitalization. What it means that the earlier you had a man-to-man connect. Somebody was seeing at you, somebody was talking to you with and having emotions on the face, and maybe a acquainted person was talking to you about a product. So your feel were different, your confidence building was different, and but now it is all machine. You are interacting to the people, it's basically interacting to the data or the digits. The people face, it got irrelevant. And that's where the big drastic change has happened into this. And this process is of the, say, one more issue here. Each and every bit what you do is being recorded very nicely here. So digitalization has done two of the major changes into the marketing paradigm or the market scenario. One is called as the dehumanization, reducing the human interface, reducing the human to human connect, and then creating the another kind of a connect which is called as man to machine connect. And another one is each of whatsoever you do is being very well being recorded, placed into the data warehouses very nicely. Another thing that has emerged are the multiple of the virtual entities. Earlier you had a product, maybe considering it as in say Cadbury as in product. Talk about its advertising, create and brand through the advertisements. But now all of a sudden you are having the many of the diet conscious people. They will start talking about the intensity of the sugar involved into it. And these all are the virtual entities. And all of a sudden these entities are having the big presence on the internet. So say not only that particular advertiser or a producer was talking to its consumers, but now the new virtual entities, they are ever emerging and ever impacting onto the various processes of the marketing. Similarly, there are the multiple virtual products has emerged. Business. Let's take an example with the Oyo rooms. That's in one of the wonderful business that is happening right now in India and maybe going abroad also. Oyo rooms, it's in what they are doing. They are typically selling the only bookings. It's a say product was what was to be called as a product. Product was supposed to be the room or the service inside an hotel, rather than another business is emerged and that is talking about only the bookings. So this is something about the new types of the products which are the virtual in nature. They are emerging a lot. Another major change has happened. Earlier, business was for the consumers, but now business is with the consumers. The word is co-creation. You create business by understanding the needs of the target group of people. But now you need to understand the needs while interacting with them, and they say consciously at a very very faster pace. You need to create the products involving those people into the process. They will be giving you the ideas about what is required for them and what is to be done, and this is all is happening in the name of the customization. So it is the co-creation. Can we create a communication strategy also with the customers? So this is something about then they had become the customer has become an integral part of your business operations. Earlier it was an entity, it was a different entity which was to be catered for, but now it is a very well part and parcel of your all interactions and all say processes. So this is something which is in a very dynamic and a very fast change has happened into it. Many times it is said that the consumption first and the ideation later. Earlier it wasn't say long kind of a debate product development. If a car is to be manufactured, it was conceived at least 3 to 4 years earlier than it is to be sold. And now customer is helping you out in designing the product. So it is the ideation is say it's something that he is understanding the through the virtual reality, the kind of experiences that he is going to have, and he is consuming that particular benefits first, and now you will be understanding that how it is to be created. So these technologies like AR and VR, augmented reality and the virtual reality, they are making the consumption explained, consumption identified, consumption defined first, and then the ideation of the product later on it is to be done. So the process is upside down. Continuous connect with the customer on the multiple platforms. Earlier it was one single connect where either your communication setup was being talking like say advertising, brand building, etc. The easy efforts for communicating, or say your salespeople were communicating. But now you have the multiple channels, maybe in your control, may not be in your control. They are connecting to it. So these are the technology changes has created these kind of the shifts, and a new entity has emerged that we call it as the market or a new scenario in the market. So marketing, how it is changed. So the marketing earlier was understand the need and then deliver product for the exchange of the values beneficial for the customer as well as to that of company. This was being considered as one of the definition of the marketing. But all of a sudden now the definition of the marketing is integrate with the lifestyle of the target community. How it is to be integrate? You need to first decipher the lifestyle that they are living in, understand that particular lifestyle and the factors that may be changing that particular lifestyle, model that particular change is going to happen, and predict earlier than the customer himself knows that how the lifestyle is going to change. After that, it is easy. Create customized values and deliver customized level for the desired level of satisfaction to the community. Individual customer is gaining the more importance rather than the community based marketing into it. So the marketing is more connecting with the people, involving them into your operations, and say living life with them, and then enjoying that lifestyle changes by producing some solutions for it. If you can think like those customers, you can make things happening. It is the Nike. Nike Nike was the company which was first considering that in lifestyle products and then having that particular lifestyle as a positioning setup also. So in that case, they need to position that lifestyle in the life of their employees. This is where the solutions now emerging faster. You need to understand the customers, their life, integrate your people by the thought process, and then create the solutions for them. This is where the newer type of the marketing initiatives or marketing definitions are emerging. The entity called customer, he's also changed over a period of time. This digitization of the setups, that has changed tremendously the dynamics. Let's have a few more minutes in understanding that what has changed as far as the customer is concerned. The first and the foremost thing is now he is ultimate powerful. Earlier it was say the cost of switching was quite high. You need to re-explore the product, re-establish the relationship with the channels, renegotiate various deals and so. But now all of a sudden you find that everything is happening onto the screens, computer screens, and the cost of switching is not so high. And that's where the power of the customer has increased tremendously. Another case is availability about the product and availability about the product features and knowledge was limited earlier. It was having the sources were having the few only defined areas where somebody could have access them. But now they are freely available. And that's where the knowledge power was also weaned out from the producers. The customers, by doing their own kind of the research through the multiple information sources, sorry, can turn out to be the far more knowledgeable as compared to the earlier one. They can dictate the terms now. They can talk about that, what they are expecting. Critically, they say this is not available or this is something which is expected but not delivered. So this is about the full knowledge about the situation is there. And finally, the customers, the new generation, they know very well about their own self also. It is something, the reversal of the process has happened. It means that earlier you were creating the products or the marketeer was creating the products and going and saying, hey, see this, you need this. This is going to help you in your life. But then in the present times, many times customer is coming up, can you create a solution like this? And that's where the integration is making the things happening differently. The companies which are more connected with the customers and they are being listening to the customers more, they are successful. The mantras of the success, they are changing. No standardized experience, customized experiences. And the customer is going to decide where he need product and what kind of the experiences they want to have. Another major revolution that has happened, that has changed the customer, it is called as the app-based working. New business also emerged. You may have Uber, you may have Ola. These all are the typical apps. They are available on your mobile. Name a particular kind of activity or a business activity, app is available for that. And all they are available on the smartphones. So the people are learning new way of doing things and the consumer behavior here is changing a lot, which is turning out to be the app-based situations into the things. So that purchase behavior, consumer purchase behavior, saying that this was the kind of an say need generation or a kind of info stimuli or info assessment, then finding out the various solution, generating the solution, and then after that say providing the benefits or say selecting the benefit, all are happening somewhere on this gadget called your smartphone with the help of multiple apps. Who is producing where and selling to which community? It is all going out. The cultural similarities, they are emerging, and hence the branding similarities, they are expected. Cultural similarities are emerging, the way people think, the way people talk, what are the various accepted norms. The differences between these issues are reducing. If they are reducing, naturally the way you brand, the way you create those products, that's something under the changeover. Digital customer, The demographic factors. Now, more important factors are health, economics, education, culture, rather than geography, regionalism, suburbanism, etc. So it means that this particular age or digital age customer is recreating the various dimensions of the marketing. These milestones of the life, marriage. Many of the younger ones, they don't want to marry, but they want to say have the relationships. Many of these younger ones, they don't look forward for raising the family. They want to have a different kind of the achievements in their life. So the milestones in the life, they are also under the redefining and redefinition onto it. Financial divide in the societies is also increasing. There are some people who are very nicely adapted to the digital scenario. They are enjoying the fruits of it, and there isn't say have nots. The community of the have nots, that is also very large in number, but at the same point of time, difference between digitally haves and have nots is very sharp. Further talking about, this customer is tremendously instrumented, having the multiple channels and multiple ways by which connecting to the customers, connecting to the organizations, and so. This community is less loyal, demanding more, and ready to differ, ready to change. And then the purchasing behaviors, these are the few new buzzwords, a few kind of the buzzwords which are emerging here. So it is about happening into it. All these changes, all these changes, all these changes, they had disrupted the overall operations of the marketing. Any kind of a new company or the opportunity that emerges either by the development of technology or the disruption of the order, and now present times, both of the things are happening. There is a disruption of the order as well as the emergence of the technology. So the say organization which is trying and looking forward for a competitive advantage out of this, they need to be seeing both ways, emergence of technology, that how they adapt, and so at the same point of time, what are the various disruptions happening. Some of the disruptions I had enlisted here. Cloud, that's bringing in analytics, and cloud, they are bringing in the way you operate. And so in this case, the consumption is faster, or say the reaching to the customer is faster. Another area where this new marketing scenario is emerging, it is about omni-channel customer interactions. Gone the days when you had your own singular channel created. A channel may be willing to keep multiple products and multiple services. At the same point of time, physical or digital, there may be the n number of such kind of issues. So connect customer by multiple ways. Another area is help customer while he's consuming the products. Help customer when he is using that your services, or say using your products and consuming your services. At the same point of time, you need to collect the say desired information out there. So this is something that a proactive connectivity with the customer, identifying the major touch points when it is to be connected to the customer is an art, and that is generating the competitive advantage now. Earlier it was knowing customer, but now it is not how to know about customer and when to know about the customer. It is more important, and that's where the new kind of the competitive advantages are being generated. Automated servicing of the customer, that's another scenario. Don't wait customer to bring it to a counter. Can you reach to his home and then serve there and connect that particular device, or say help that particular device to operate? So this is something which are the few changes. This new marketing scenario, it talks about loyalty through the customer service. You sold a particular product, it doesn't mean that the task is done. No, you need to consistently watch what is the experience being generated for the customer during the operations. So that particular thing, the loyalty is brought about by helping customers while they are consuming that particular service or so. Nurturing customer communities. This is something which is consciously to be done across your products, across your ideas. It's basically, I call it as an ideas, that you need to generate the communities, and they need to create these ideas. They need to create these ideas. These communities can be that of the users. These communities can be that of the influencer. These communities can be that of the particular researchers who will be thinking in that direction. They may be a socially empowered people. They are talking about that particular idea that may be converted into the product. Communication is an idea. Mobile wasn't, say, something was to be there for the telephony, got converted into a app based conglomeration of the multiple functions into it. I call it conglomeration because it is name a particular function and you will find it, that particular thing is happening out there. I don't know how it's going to take a shape 5 years down the line. A community across this, how these kind of the say utilities or what kind of the gadget transformation can happen. Similarly, about the services, about the feel, about the kind of the experiences, about the issues related to the environment, they become more prominent in knowing the various circumstances and situations. And this is what we call as nurturing the customer communities across your idea, across your products. And so art of doing marketing earlier was creating product and convincing customer. Now engaging user experience, generating the engaging user experience. If somebody is coming in your connect, shall be a very valuable experience that you create out there, and that's what we call it as engaging user experience to be built. And this is where your competitive advantages to be seen into this new type of the things. Having said all, what we are looking forward for, complete transformation, digital transformation of the operations so as to build the competitive advantages. What exactly is the digital transformation? Let's have 1 minute's time and see this say short video here.
Ready or not, digital transformation is reinventing business as we know it. Every enterprise, including yours, now faces a choice between innovation or extinction. Digital transformation is not specifically about IT or technology. It's about redefining your entire business strategy, perhaps even changing your corporate culture. To succeed in digital, your company should think of technology not just as a support function, but as a strategic competency. Digital transformation is not just about applying technology to your business. It's actually about creating entirely new business models on the backbone of technology. Amazon.com was not just a shop with a website. It forever disrupted and revolutionized the entire concept of shopping and more. It's now imperative for every business to adapt to and take advantage of the ways the digital world has radically changed consumer behavior and expectations. Your customers, your channels, and your competitors have already gone digital. As of 2017, mobile devices dominate total minutes spent online, searching, reading email, browsing, and buying. That's globally, from 71% in the US to 91% in Indonesia, and 67% of millennials, 56% of Gen Xers, 41% of baby boomers, and 28% of seniors prefer to shop online rather than in-store. And it's not just for retail consumers. 55% of B2B buyers say they search for product or vendor information on social media. And according to a 2017 CloudCraze study, 55% of B2B buyers expect mobile access to a seller's e-commerce platform. Even your own products, employees, and business operations are already dependent on digital technology. The digital transformation continues to accelerate for two main reasons. First, technology is evolving at an exponential rate. Second, data is far more plentiful and usable. Mastering emerging technology has always made the difference between companies being competitive or barely keeping up. What makes today's digital transformation different is the extreme importance of data. Not just big batches of data, but real-time data. Data about your consumers, data about your competitors, data about your supply chain, data about your markets. Having this data and knowing how to use it pulls your critical business decisions out of the shadow of opinion or guesswork and brings intelligent options into the light instantly, so your business can do new things and do things right. The digital transformation has the potential to level the playing field. It provides low-cost tools and enables strategies that give small and medium-sized businesses a fighting chance to compete at the same level as major enterprises. Successful companies that have disrupted an entire industry often did so by changing business models and processes in ways that vastly improve the customer experience. Data is what makes these new models possible. Digital transformation depends on data, and data depends on effective collection, cybersecurity, analytics, and application. Get the data, protect the data, analyze the data, then utilize the data. These are the essentials of a digital transformation, and these are the essential skills that your company will either have to outsource, hire, or train and upskill from the inside. Do you have a digital transformation strategy? According to a 2017 Forrester report, 74% of business executives say their company has a digital strategy, but only 15% believe that their company has the skills and capabilities to execute on that strategy. Digitally transforming your organization changes everything. It changes your corporate strategy. It changes your business processes. It changes your marketing capabilities. It even changes the roles and skills you need to fill in order to bridge the gaps between your company and the technologies you need to master. Simply Learn is here to help you on this path, specializing in online team training for the digital economy. Simply Learn offers hundreds of certification courses in technologies and practices.
Well, just talked about the newer kind of the competitive advantages, newer kind of the scenarios emerging. The emphasis lies, or say the core success mantra lies with understanding that how are you deploying the technology to reach out to the customer, integrate that customer, and after that integrate your operations with that customer's expectations and use this data particularly into these areas. And if we do it, we are having the competitive advantages. Now let us understand that how the analytics is making changes in area of the marketing, how all is to be done with the help of the data in area of the marketing. There are the multiple dimensions to it. Marketing is no doubt is having the multiple say the application areas. You can have the branding, you can talk about the distribution channels, you can talk about the supply chain, you can talk about developing product, you can talk about deciding about the pricing, you can talk about say developing the particular say satisfaction level, or say a desired level of the satisfaction. There are the immense areas, or that's in the number of the areas where the marketing is applied or marketing is being carried out. Same point of time, all these areas need to say use data, and if data is to be used, it is to be used for predicting, it is to be used for improving the efficiency of the operations, it is to be used for increasing the effectiveness of your decisions and effectiveness of your operations. Mind my words, I said it is the effectiveness of the say decisions to be increased. At the same point of time, efficiency of the processes to be increased. And if these two things are being done, the marketing will be more accountable to the money that it's sucking in. And that's where the analytics is helping them out. Analytics is creating this one. Marketing analytics is having its own process. We'll be seeing few minutes after that marketing analytics, how it goes. So naturally, all these things that already I shared with you, better allocate resources, and so these are the areas where the marketing marketing analytics helps. All said and done, there is a data-driven strategy, data-driven marketing decision making, and all the procedural areas like sales, pricing, competitive advantages, and so. Forecasting is one of the major area where these things, data-driven things, help. So what is marketing analytics? It is something to do with data applied into these all various issues by making models, output of the models conveyed in the language that is understood by the managers, so as to help them in real-time decision making, giving them a possibility of the understanding the impact of their decisions in advance. That's how it goes. There are the multiple say dimensions to it: retail analytics, There may be the kind of pricing analytics. And so let's take a case here with the consumer analytics. And that consumer analytics, let us understand more so as to decipher this particular issue of marketing analytics. Consumer analytics. Earlier it was consumer behavior, and now it is consumer analytics. Behavior is still this is the core of it, but then analytics helps me in deciphering and integrating. Deciphering it, what is the consumer behavior, and integrating with the customer. That's where the analytics comes in play. What it do? Here is an example. This is the SES customer analytics.
Marketers today have to tackle 3 key challenges to drive revenue: manage complex customer relationships across a variety of channels, respond to and enable dynamic customer interactions, and extract value from big data to make better decisions faster. With the latest release of SaaS Customer Intelligence, CMOs can easily navigate to a consolidated view of customer preferences and expectations across all channels. That includes web, point of sale, social media, mobile, and more. Marketers can use this information to create consistent and coordinated experiences to move customers along in the buying cycle. The analytics in SaaS Customer Intelligence deliver perceptive and timely insights for automated, highly targeted marketing campaigns. Marketers can quickly switch between inbound and outbound campaigns, allowing them to immediately react to results. They can test and learn on the fly and constantly improve campaign ROI and customer experience. SaaS Customer Intelligence brings all customer and marketing data together in one place. CMOs have the information they need to make the right strategic and tactical decisions. For the first time, marketers can go from data.
So the customer analytics talks about these major areas. Let's understand a few more issues here. Customer analytics has to deal with some number of its say the elements, and the first in that is customer lifetime value, assessment of the customer lifetime value, customer equity, customer value propositions. These are the kind of words which gives you a clear idea about business possibilities are available with a group of people or an individual organization, individual person. Customer lifetime value is to be numerically assessed. Customer equity is also to be converted into a measure of these issues, and then it is to be marked. And this all is to be done by the available data. This all is to be done with the kind of the available data through the interaction with the customer or his previous experiences or previous interactions. This analysis of this particular data. So customer analytics, once again, is a process of analyzing data, building models, assessing consumer metrics, deciphering insights, and forecasting. The straight written down process is this. Understanding more on it, building models I talked again and again. This requires the understanding of the machine learning tools, machine learning techniques. At the same time, it is requiring the understanding of the other statistical tools, statistical understandings. What for it is? It is to have something to do with the metrics. Means that the customer interaction is to be converted into the some number of the metrics. They are the achievable issues in itself. And after that, deciphering insights and forecasting for the future, that's being the outcome of this model building and customer analytics. What are the various kind of the metrics? A list of the metrics is provided here. Measure of the customer loyalty is a metric. Predictive behavior of the customer and say what is going to be the purchase areas into it. These are the kind of the metrics being generated over here. Measuring the customer satisfaction, it is in another kind of a matrix. So whatsoever is in a crucial customer issue, it is to be converted into a measurable issue, measurable entity, measurable and say accessible entity is called as the metric here. So every company has to define and identify the metrics for making a marketing successful for their campaign. Where it helps in business understanding, data understanding, data preparation. These are the processes. These are the steps of implementing the customer analytics. What we did first, we had understood their business. We had created understanding about the consumers. And after that, we converted them into the metrics. Assessment of the metrics, or say defining that how metrics is to be changed, is a strategy. What are the level of the metrics? What are the level on the metrics and how it is to be changed is the strategy. And that holds the success points for an organization. It is to be done through the customer analytics. And what are the various steps? The first step here is understanding the business. So it is something about determining the business objectives, what exactly your business wants. It needs to grow by 20%, or it needs to be the differently says. It is assessing the situation in which you are operating, determining the data mining goals and producing the project plans. I will be sharing you one of the case here. And these all methods, these all steps that you will be you will be seeing it few minutes after. Data understanding. Data is available in abundance, but the real quality data is very difficult to access and very difficult to find. Which particular data point is to be picked up? That's an say art right now. That's something the success mantra at this point of time. If it is being available in a which format and how to convert into a usable format, that's the skill that is requisite here, understanding the data. So it is something about, if you had understood that where the data is available, collecting it in real time, that's another technology support that you require. And after that, cleaning, integrating the data, converting it into a usable tables, that is all is called as the data preparations. Further step comes in customer analytics. It is about modeling. Already I shared with you some number of the kind of the techniques which are available for the modeling. Naturally, it is the evaluation of the results and deployment will follow. This is something which is the process of the customer analytics. We will be trying and seeing this process with the two examples today and two of the say cases here. Technologies to be deployed. Here is a list of the technologies being placed here. The business intelligence technologies, they were available in past also. You call about dashboards or you call about the scoreboards. They were available earlier also. That is about it. What is say that has enhanced their effectiveness is the data analytics. Here it comes about data mining, text mining, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and cognitive systems. These are the technologies which has really made the changes happening here. And another area which has made the real-time availability of the data are the technologies which are part of this big data applications and big data setups. So it is something about streaming, using Hadoop or Spark applications for those kind of networked servers. So they are the technologies which are making this customer analytics happening into it. Well, database management and data management, and so that's also the part of it. Now let us understand that in customer analytics, what are the various areas and how the difference is happening and how these kind of the issues are being taken care. Customer experience. So how it is to be understood this is right or wrong. How it is to be understood this is right or wrong. There are the some number of the things here. Customer satisfaction analysis, customer engagement analysis, and customer journey for the path analysis. These are the kind of the applications being created. These are the kind of applications being created by customer analytics. Another area is the contextual marketing. So what are the solutions available here? Sentiment analysis, customer location analysis, customer device users analysis. They helps you in understanding consumer behavior in better fashion. acquisition and retention of a customer. What are the say areas here available in customer analytics? It is about behavioral customer segmentation. Segmentation is a big word, big area, which is being changed due to the analytics tremendously. Customer lifetime value analysis. A few minutes earlier also I talked about the lifetime value analysis also. Customer lookalike targeting. Then it is about the retention and loyalty. So a series of the activities in customer analytics is being provided here. Customer propensity analysis, customer churn and attrition analysis or prediction, and social network analysis, that is part of it. Personalization, that is about, these are the kind of the areas which are available as far as the personalization are concerned. All these things, they create a set of the tools for the managers where they can make better decisions and make better sense out of their spending on the marketing issues. They can serve better the customer into the things. All these kind of the analysis shall result into a particular unique dashboard, mind my words, unique dashboard for the each of the hierarchy of the managers in area of marketing. And in that case, the operations strategies that to be synthesized on the basis of these issues and these analysis which is coming in. That's how the consumption of the customer analytics goes in. Further, here are some of the listing of the customer analytics issues here. It is about what is to be measured, what is to be understood as in customer analytics. So behavioral perspective of a customer, if we want to analyze, we need to have these kind of assessments like affinity analysis, propensity of purchase, that how fast is the how much that he is willing to purchase, what is the propensity of his purchase. So these things has to be seen here. Further, about punctuality profiling. Some of the customers are very punctual. Some of the customers are very punctual in the payments. Some of the very punctual in follow-ups, and so their analysis. If I talk about further kind of the perspectives in understanding consumer behavior, it is as risk profiling. Means that how much risk they want to take it on. I want to say then another one. It is about the event patterns. What kind of the events they will be participating and partnering in. After that, it comes about profitability perspectives. So these are the customer analytics is going to help you in understanding this, say the profitability profiling, profitability conversions, and so. It is about the life cycle perspectives, that is CLV and CLV profiling. Loyalty perspectives, that is about the recency, frequency, monetary value, churn, acquisitions, and so these are the part of the loyalty perspectives. You are understanding the consumers into these issues divided into the parts of this. Churn, acquisition, retention, behavioral aspects, profitability perspectives, and lifestyle perspectives. If you have these many informations and these many analyzed issues for description, for prediction, and for prescription of your company, your strategies will be far better placed, your profitability will be far better placed, and that's how these things goes on. Few more ideas being placed here. It is about the purchasing patterns and so all this is something the part of customer analytics. What is to be reported here? So these are the kind of the reports that comes in. These are the kind of the reports that comes in as part of the consumer analytics about the current profitabilities, potential profitabilities, future profitability predictions, and these all can be generated through the various dashboards and dashboard applications. A simple example that I shared with you about the consumer analytics. What I tried in last few minutes, that is to give a shape to the word called consumer analytics. What is the process of consumer analytics? The process is understanding the business objectives, developing the assessment of the data which is required, developing the ways by which you will be collecting and streaming data. After that, you will be deploying models. After that, You will be implementing those issues for the execution, and in doing so, what kind of the metrics to be deployed that I had shared with you, what kind of the metrics to be deployed that I shared with you, a complete marketing process is turning out to be the based on data, measurement, assessment, decision making on the basis of that particular assessment, and then expecting efficiencies into it. Having said this all, deciphered about some bit of this issue called as marketing analytics. Let's have few cases. Understand more that how it is to be done. I'd say collected two of the cases here. First case is that of understanding the customer want, what customer is looking for, and after that, the another one is it's an say analyzing consumer behavior for the business operations and business perspectives. Two of these things I will be trying and sharing with you. Well, let's understand that there are some companies. I'll be sharing you some of the websites here. They do business in Malaysia also. There may be some such companies operating in. These are the companies which talk about creating the tourist packages. In India, there isn't a big tourist destination called as Goa. So what are the various benefits to be provided? What particular services to be provided here? So that's one of the issues. One of the, say, this company do it, and another company is providing the services like booking the travel, booking the hotels, booking the various kind of the support services, and then looking forward for your experience in that particular place. Airbnb is one of the international model. In Indian model, it comes about the makemytrip.com. Let's have this website. The major issue for both of these companies is what is to be offered at the destination. That means that what customer is expecting as a part of the product or a service out there, and in that case, knowing it perfectly for this particular group of the people. The data, what kind of the data will be required? This is the company Make My Trip. This is the company Make My Trip. It talks about travel plans. It talks about holiday packages. It talks about homestays, hotels. So these are the kind of the destinations to be, and it is basically kind of a destination selling. That is kind of selling of the, say, tickets, followed by the staying, destinations, and so forth. What type of the data will make sense in this particular decision? So it requires both qualitative and quantitative. The qualitative data means that feel that is available at those destinations. If I just taken an example of the Goa, they are the very beautiful beaches, and in fact the best of the kind of sold beaches in India. That's the kind of an experience which is qualitative in nature. At the same point of time, the spending of money, the reaching out to that particular one, the kilometers to be traveled, etc., that goes for the quantitative. For such kind of the understanding, both qualitative and the quantitative data will be required. So you need techniques which will be understanding about the qualitative aspects also and the quantitative aspects also. Further, giving you an example about qualitative data. Why for to visit Goa? There may be the possibility that somebody would be visiting for spending the vacations. Then what are the dreams to be part of the vacations? Vacations, say each of the community, I can talk about as say there are the people who differently spend their vacations. There are some people who go for the destination visits. There are some people who behave very differently at those destinations. So what are the ideas and the dreams about that particular vacation to be spent? And is that filling in into the whatsoever available at Goa? If I match this all, I will be doing it better kind of decisions. So this qualitative data, that what a perception is, what are the fantasies about the vacations with some number of the people, is to be analyzed. And we need some technique by which we can make sense of it, sense of whatsoever the customer speak. Customer will not be speaking into the business language. Customer will be speaking in part of his perception, his fantasies, his ideas, and it is to be converted into the metric of the marketing. We require some technique which can do it on a mass scale. So some of the techniques that I had written here: natural language processing, that helps in understanding that what customer thinking is, what are the various steps the customer takes on deciding this, what they think first, what they think second, and then how they link the logics, how they deploy the logics, and they reach to the final conclusion. So this natural language processing helped me out here. Quantitative techniques. Regression analysis is one of the very primitive technique which can be yet useful. And further I talk about is about the machine learning. So these are the new generation techniques which will be making, say, the use of data and giving me the answer of such questions, that what are the various important factors customer is considering for making decisions to go on a particular vacation. Let's see more examples here. I had shared with you that data is available in abundance, but then where it is located. If it is to be located and you have the quality data available, your models will be better. The perfection of the prediction depends on the success rate, or say the accuracy of the models. And the accuracy of the model depends on the quality of the data is at hand. How to get a quality data? How to get in quality data? So there are the two ways basically. First way is purchase some reliable source data. This consumercomplaints.in, this may be the one of the example that is in government website, which is having the, say, customer complaints registered for the redressal by the government mechanism. So the people who reach up to this point, they are really aggrieved. So you can consider that data as an quality data. At the same point of time, there are the some number of the people that created their own communities, their own online forums. They talk about, say, Microsoft Power BI or IBM Watson. IBM Watson is one of the major initiative by IBM Watson is one of the major initiative for linking customers or an individual customer or a retail customer to the analytics tools by the IBM. People will be sharing their experiences about the Watson. People will be sharing about the failures of the Watson there, and that will be the captive forum that will be serving the purpose for understanding what is there. And in this particular case, the debate on these forums can be managed by IBM, and that's where the quality of the data will be taken up. Consumer feedbacks. There are some companies which sells the consumer feedback, but then there are some companies who collect the consumer feedback. It is always said that whatsoever you collect it for a specific purpose is always better than whatsoever is being sold by the outside one. The quality of data matters a lot. Product design, service design, so forth. Well, some number of the solutions. Now, if I want to use this particular one for the product design, I'll be deploying conjoint analysis. I want to understand that what are the various factors which are very important and prominent in, say, decision making. I will be using regression analysis. And after that, what I can do, I can create certain number of the models here. What these models will be? First model can be an example where the choice model I talk about. Choice model I talk about. Consumer choices. How consumer make choices. What are the sequence of the information and how they process the information. So these all are the models. Precipitation of the choice in favor or in against a situation what exists. This will be the outcome of this model. Another kind of a model which is being majorly used and, say, deployed, it is called as the market basket analysis. Market basket analysis. In short, I had written the MBA. What it talks about is the consumer, if he is moving out in a store, he is going to purchase some number of assortments. Which of the assortments are interlinked? If his basket is to be seen, is the purchase basket is to be analyzed. Let us understand that what are the various, say, the assortments being picked up into it. Predict if this customer is entering in, he is going to make which particular purchases. and accordingly guide him. Either you guide him to reach out to those particular assortments, or if the first assortment is being picked up, help him to understand where is the next assortment. You can create some number of offers on the basis of this analysis. If this particular, you can bundle out the products for some number of promotions. So these are the utilities with the market basket analysis. Further talking about what would be the solution on these all issues, it is about the models and these kind of the models. It is called as a churn prediction. If some customer has purchased earlier with you, from you, had been with you, can be going out. If these kind of the solutions to be found, what is an important skill here? The important skill here is visualizing the end outcome as a statistical or a mathematical process. You talk about that market basket analysis. It means that the customer is purchasing one assortment and will be willing to purchase the another assortment. Now this is to be seen mathematically. If it is to be seen mathematically, associative rules comes in play. So can I deploy the associative algebra, to understand that if this point is being picked up, what is the frequency of the another one also picked up, and is there any relationship between them? This is how the MBA is being seen, MBA is being understood, and this is called as an associative process and associative rules to be deployed here. Churn prediction. Churn prediction is also to be seen as a binomial process. Will he stay or will he go? That's in question. So what is binomial statistics, or statistical distribution? It talks about only two decisions, yes or no, pass or fail. A customer is retained, customer is going out. That's it. That's the same kind of it. So churn prediction is to be seen as a binomial process. Can I design a binomial model where I will be predicting on the basis of some number of interactions, some number of the issues, where I can find the solution to it? So this is something which is any of the outcome that you look forward for is to be converted into a mathematical process and a statistical process, and further it is to be programmed with the help of your Python or R in particular or so. So this is what the process goes in. I'll be sharing you one of the major example here, how it is to be done. Well, here is an example once again. It talks about listing of attributes for selecting a hotel or rating of a hotel. If somebody is visiting to Goa or some particular place nearby Malaysia, maybe the Bali or some other islands or so, what will be the important issues to be identified? What are the various important issues identified by the customer for selecting a particular solution? So here is a list. Rating values, locations, sleep quality, value for money, location, cleanliness, services. These are the sum of the lists. So the first issue is identifying these kind of the attributes. The art is, as again I said, the quality of the data. Here the first issue of the quality of data emerge. You say these are the 6 or 7 attributes. They are contributing towards rating of hotel. This means that at least 90% of the decision of the customer shall be based on these 6 factors. Factors may be unlimited. These kind of attributes may be the unlimited. But then say a particular percentage of the decision must be based on these kind of the attributes. So this is something which is the quality of your first data, quality of the data. Second quality here, rating of the values. Whomsoever you had taken these ratings, it needs to be the real actual ratings. Well, having said this, attributes, listing of attributes, and then value of those attributes qualitatively is being adjusted, then it comes about decision. Here in this case, selecting a hotel is the decision. It means that the selecting or not selecting will be the outcome. Selecting or not selecting will be the outcome that is expected. If the selecting and not selecting is an outcome expected, the nature of the variable is binomial in its nature. There is only one dependent variable. Dependent variable is selection. and independent variables, all these attributes will turn out to be the independent variables. So the one dependent variable and multiple independent variables, that's the kind of the design coming out of it. If this is the design coming out of it, I look forward for logistic regression is one of the solution to it. Logistic regression helps me in say, regressing independent variables over the one binomial dependent variable. So this, if you had selected this particular kind of a technique, rest of that goes with creating a or using a particular software. Now, R isn't say where you can deploy these kind of the things. If you have the data file available, you can upload on the data file and you can use that particular one. So this is where it is going to be the say utility of the softwares. Another one, the package that you can deploy is that of the Python. Further, what will be the outcome of it? Outcome of that particular one will be a constant, and the coefficients of the regression will be reported. The constant of the regression will be the bare minimum outcome or dependent variable that will be available irrespective of any attribute. If these attribute exist or these attribute does not exist, that particular component is going to happen, and that component is called as the constant of the regression. But at the same point of time, there will be the coefficient of each of these attributes. These coefficients will be giving the relative importance of these attributes. Suppose it is the sleep quality which is having the maximum or the largest coefficient amongst all these attributes. It means that the customers are giving utmost importance to the sleep quality. So in this case, you can identify that which attributes are important, or say the list these kind of the priority on the basis of the priority of these attributes, priority of the customer, these attributes can be listed. And this is where this strategy making or say a business decision making is being helped in these circumstances. So this was one of the example that how the customer analytics is helping in designing the product. So all these issues like location, sleep quality, they will be helped in creating an experience at the destination. It will be helping in creating a marketing communication or say advertising communication on the basis of the importance rating to these attributes. What is to be emphasized? It is the sleep quality to be emphasized, or the services to be emphasized. Cleanliness is to be emphasized, or the location is to be emphasized. That will be answered from here. So this is how the business consumption of this model will emerge, and the business consumption of this model will happen. So this is one of the example that how the marketing analytics is being used, how the marketing analytics is being applied. One more example, one more case that I take. This will help you in the bigger way understanding the various dimensions of developing these kind of the solutions. Well, here it goes. This case is with the Clearwater State University, USA. And this particular case is based on the actual data that is being generated by this particular university. Attrition of the students. First is the joining of the right kind of students, and then after that, attrition of the students. Both of them are very prominent and very important issues for any university. You are also the part of this university. University gets its ranking because of the quality students, and the quality students, they need to first be attracted to the university, and they need to be retained. At the same point of time, if some of the processes students are unable to follow, they will stop in between. They will not be completing their course in a university, and that will be loss of an opportunity for university as well as for those students. So this was the kind of situation with this particular university. And let's create an attrition prediction model for the students of this university. So what was the agenda? Understand the client information, how it is to go ahead on this particular project. So developing a team, client info, business issues, business problems, project objectives, after that exploratory data to be analyzed, model evaluation, and then model building after the model recommendations. So these are the general steps which are being deployed here, and this is something with typical marketing analytics solution is there. What about this university? This university is being located, you can surf around on the website also. So it is somewhere located in, say, US of the eastern part of that country. The locations, it is nearby to some river and some scenic beauty and something like that. Physical facts to be understood here. And after that, it is a state university. It is not a private university, it is a state university. Operational issues. This particular university is inducting national and international, both the kind of the students. But for this particular university, international students were less. Any point of time for any university, the major chunk of their profit is being given by the international students. Domestic students, they are the backbone, but then the real profit is being made by the international students. The courses, elementary to super specialized, they were being offered by this university. Revenue, there are some aspects of the revenue generation for a university. As you all people are the part of the university system, you can very well understand that what are the various revenue streams. One, for this particular university, it was the student fee was the major stream of the revenue. Competition was very high due to the variety of the courses are available in nearby universities. So in fact, basically it was a complex of the 3 universities. And generally this happens into the most of the places where the universities are located. They are located more in number because that particular area generate an ecosystem where the teaching learning happens and the student life is being taken care of. So generally these universities, they get nearby locations, and so the same was the case where the Clearwater State University was being surrounded by its competitors. Objectives. If we talk about this particular business situation, as I shared with you earlier also, the process of marketing analytics. So you need to understand that what are the situation, and after that generate the business objectives. So the business objectives listed here. The business objectives listed here are increase the enrollment of the students. How you can increase the enrollment of the students. Improve the retention, progression, and the graduation rate. 3 things written here. Improve the retention, progression, and the graduation rates. Retention is dependent on the satisfaction of students. Satisfaction for their quality of the education, satisfaction for their experience inside the university, their satisfaction with the placements or the consumption of the education that they have. Improve the progression means that some number of the students who may not be coping up with the difficulty level of the subjects being taught. So there needs to be certainly somewhere it needs to be done something for them, and then the progression is to be improved on, and so does the graduation rates. Recruit academically qualified undergrad and postgrad undergrad and grad students. Any of the university will survive only on the basis of the quality of the students and the quality of academia, quality of the infrastructure that is available inside that premise. So that's where, no doubt about it, they recruit academically qualified teachers, academically qualified things has to be seen. It is about the increasing the external funding and recognition. It is about the external funding and recognition. This is very precious on that. There are the two types of the revenue streams. The first revenue stream is that of the student revenue stream, and another one is that of the receiving funding from donors, funding from CSR funds, and so, as well as these fundings are available only when you are recognized, as an equality destination, and so this goes hand in hand. So these are the kind of the business issues which needs to be handled. Now this business issues needs to be addressed with the help of the some data. What is to be done? These business issues to be converted into a business problem statement. So these are the kind of the statements being written here. This is already I had explained into the previous slide. You can say these are the issues which are to be converted into the model now. So what is to be done? Identify the project objectives. So the project objectives which are being driven from the business objectives, they are listed here. To identify the key drivers of the early attrition. What makes the attrition happening? If I know this, I will have the strategies to stop attrition, and hence my business objective will be fulfilled. Develop predictive model to identify the students with the high attrition risk. Can I segregate students? To find where they particularly they will be, where they lie as far as the scale is concerned and rating is concerned for the churn? Can I make certain recommendations to reduce the early student attrition? Now I'll further explain these objectives. To identify the key drivers for the early attrition is an exploration, and this is exploration is to be done with the available data so as to understand the behavior of the customer, behavior of the students. Develop a predictive model to identify the students with the high attrition risk. This is something which is predictive in its nature, as it's talking about. It is predictive in nature, and it will be deploying, say, it will be say assigning a particular probability to the individual student for the churning. And at last, what is to be done? This is prescriptive in nature. So these objectives, they are descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive in nature. All these three objectives needs to be seen as an, say, statistical or a mathematical process from here onwards. These processes, statistical and mathematical processes, will help you in identifying the relevant data, and after that identifying the relevant technique to be deployed for answering these issues. So this is something, the next step goes from here. I share with you now the data which is available. A data file, I think it's here. So this was the kind of the data file was being made available. This is a summary of the data on the various parameters. Age ranging from 16 to 26 for the students. Attrition, continuation, where the attrition and continuation is happening. Gender wise, male and female. Attrition, not attrition. This summary is available to you. Student major. So undeclared, biology, where it is happening, something that you can find it. Music and performance. So here you can see by Ockler 1 that you can understand that out of 460 students here, they are undeclared. 111 are having the attrition, and say 349 are continuing. English language, 51 are continuing, 9 are under the attrition. So this particular sheet gives you an understanding of the various summary of the data which is available to it. Well, after that, I go for this. It is called as a complete data set, or the university data is there. So what are the variables given here? Student identifier. So there is something about, this is student age, student gender, student background, in state, international or in domestic or international, student major, student minor, then about the student test entrance, student, etc. This is the test entrance performance, right? Then it is the first year performance. core course names that he has taken, grades. So here isn't a complete data is being given to you. Core courses grade 4, how many courses that he had picked up, and what are the various grades being taken. Then second term, once again the name of the courses and the grades taken. So these are the going like this, name of the course and the grades taken. Housing, where he is staying, off campus, on campus, returned or not returned. So this is something about distance from home. High school, high school name, what was there? There are some number of high schools being listed here and their names being provided. Father name, father income, education level, mother education, degree groups. It's about the first term earned, what grades and so, attempt, gross financial need, gross, say the cost of attending or cost is being carried out, unmet needs of that particular person. All these are here with the return or not return. That's one of the variable here, that he returned or not returned. So that's return and not return is something which is depicting churn, and rest everything is being provided here. What are the various variables here? So here is a list of the variable created out of this particular data. So this is something about the student identifier, age, student enabled, minor, first semester, core courses, second semester. All this is going here. Father's education, school, mother's education, degree code, course fee, estimated family contribution towards fee. So these are the kind of the variable list is being provided to you. You have almost 52 variables. Now, after of this particular data, a modeling is to be done. A modeling is to be done out of this particular data. Will this, the first decision comes converting them into the business, the mathematical processes. Converting these all business decisions or the project decisions into the mathematical processes. And after that, coding them, coding them into the language which will say be giving you the solution. Python is one of the preferred language that helps under such kind of the circumstances and gives you the result. The deployed techniques here for description and so. So exploratory data analysis, that is called as the EDA, the simple techniques, that is the percentage assessment and the percentage analysis, that is being deployed. So exploration is being done by like this. Majority of student, 84% are at the age group of, are at the age of 18. General equality. So these are the kind of exploratory decisions are being taken. And after this exploration, modeling techniques are being deployed. So what are the suitable techniques for the predicting now? Predicting who is going to be getting the iteration done. The second objective. For the first objective, the exploration, the simple exploratory techniques like that of the statistical analysis that is being deployed here. And after that, it comes machine learning techniques for the prediction. And the machine learning techniques deployed in this case are the random forest, decision tree, XGBoost, and logistic regression. 4 of these techniques are being deployed. So combination of techniques that helps in better way understanding the, let's say, quality of the model building and so. That helps in, say, synergizing the outcomes for the business decisions. So these are the 4 of the techniques being deployed here. And on the basis of this, what is being resulted out of these 4 of these techniques deployed, the model is being built. These are the outcomes and these are the recommendations being made. The first recommendation is university has to enhance the course curriculum by adding more subjects in the semester. So the dissatisfier amongst the students is that of the number of the subjects in the semester are less. So it is to be improved. Now this particular, if improvement is done, how many percentage of the attrition can be stopped, can be predicted by the model, can be given out by the model. University to look for the environment and the campus and the housing status of the student. So there's another issue, and if you increase it by some number of the percentage, how much of the attrition can be dropped. This is something can be reported by the model. So these are the kind of the solutions being suggested on the basis of this particular model. So this is the way how the marketing analytics is to be deployed, and it is ranging from the business decision to the business issues to the project issues, and to that of the converting it into the mathematical format, and after that reconverting it into the recommendations is the complete process of the marketing analytics that is there. Share with you one of the consumer analytics example in this case, that how the consumer is behaving. We understood behavior of the customer, we predicted what's going to be the action of that customer, and then we recommended some number of the solutions for the business organizations. This is the completing the loop as far as consumer analytics is concerned. So this was the kind of I was willing to share with you one code also, the kind of the code that is available, but then running of that code will not be the say this data is to be applied, and then the code looks like some typical Python code. So this Python code can be used for predicting and then visualizing the outcomes. Well, this is where we are talking about the various issues of the consumer analytics. Having said this all, this was I think I had run out of my presentation time. I was given 1 hour 30 minutes, 1 hour 15 minutes to present and 15 minutes for the Q&A session. So I think I'd taken more of the time on my presentation. I request organizers to look forward for the further deliberations. If there are any questions, may please be given the questions.
Thank you, sir. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, please. Mr. Shankar has placed some question here, which is visible to me. From the customer perspective, how to refrain from artificial lifestyle demands created by the analytics-based personal advertisement pushed to my connected devices and do a sensible spending. Is there any analytics for the individual consumer on the sensible spending and need-based purchase lifestyle? Thanks, Mr. Shankar, to put forward one of the major issue here, which is the part of the kind of any automation or any analytics drive. This talks about the ethics into this kind of the system. A debate is, are you making human being as in part and parcel of a mechanized process? Human being is also having its process, say it is kind of input, process, output, delivery kind of mechanism. You see something, you analyze that particular information with the available of your brilliance and available of your intellect. After that, you take decision and do the actions. Yes, all these kind of the pushed forward messages can ignite your action points, can ignite the customers' imagination, customers say the feeling deprivation of some of the solution or some of the product. Yes, it is possible. At the same point of time, the ethics to be practiced not only by the business organizations, but they shall be made a part and parcel of the legal systems, that I can say. But then one of the basic wisdom is if a particular consumer is right now being given him some kind of the felt deprivation without his actual deprivations, or created a say not appropriate kind of the needs, sooner or later he is going to recognize that. If it is so, then naturally the loyalty issues will be very difficult for any organization to sustain with. So under these circumstances, it's going to be a loss of the revenue, loss of the customer, and loss of the face for that particular organization. Customer is tremendously empowered. He is going to react under multiple digital entities and multiple digital platforms. And it will, in that case, if suppose he's doing something and it's gaining more of the acceptance of the third party players, say third party platforms like that of the social media platforms, it will be very difficult for any organization to respond and react. So under these circumstances, consumer is has having its own power setup. At the same point of time, all the organizations shall also refrain from such kind of the practices. But yes, this is one of the major threat. The artificial intelligence is making human being as an object. These all techniques are converting human being as an object. That's something which is being feared about.
Thank you, sir, for your answer. I have a question to ask.
Please go ahead.
Yes, so can this mass marketing ensure my security and privacy of my data?
See, again, a very contentious kind of say issues being raised. There are the some apps. I will not name the apps. Right, there are the some number of apps that trace your activities. They call themselves as an assistant to you, but actually what they are doing, they're keeping an eye on you. You go to a particular restaurant, they come to know that which restaurant that you are in. If you take some particular kind of the foods, they ask for the quality and the satisfaction of those food and items. You just expected to rate them on, I don't know, all these things. But then say the present kind of the scenario, technology has become so deep in its strengths to decipher what you think, what you behave in, what you react with, where your personal space is coming in, where it is not the personal space. These questions are really, say, having very faint line now. It's the something that you need to decide that what much of the information and how much of the information that you would like to be permitted with. Most of the apps shall do it by asking to you, and they are basically looking forward to install the cookies on your devices. So these cookies are the small programs, they will be installed on your devices and they will be capturing such informations. You may be asked that will you permit these cookies to be installed on your devices, but at the same point of time, what will be the repercussion of those cookies you may not be told about. So here it is, the one point that I'll say, you need to be very particular in managing your own privacy. Things are, say, not to be left and shall not be left on the wisdom of the people who are collecting data this way or that way. It has to be your conscious choice. Please permit only those apps which are having some security and the conscious, say, the consciousness towards the privacy, respect for the privacy of yours. Please permit only those apps to be placed on your devices. Please be very particular in accepting the cookies on these on. And then this is where the cyber security and a whole set of the cyber security issues, they are very pertinent. I'll look forward for say detailed discussion on such issues, that how you can stop those all softwares to impinge in your privacy issues, and so some other time. But then certainly a very nice question and a very apt question at this point of time. But then the only answer is be cautious.
Thank you, sir. So, Adil has a question. His question is, increasing the transparency to the customers will only help the customers if they feel they aren't being robbed. So, how would the providers ensure that the customers feel safe and continue with the services?
Nice one, Adil. customer feel robbed? Yes, they are being amazed to understand that people are, say, visualizing about them or say analyzing by them. And this is where the first level of the breach of the trust comes in. Any of the appropriate and say appropriate business person will be forced asking the typical customer, can we interact on such issues, and then with the transparency, with the permission only, will be taking the data of that person. But what happens that you may be receiving the some number of the proposals that will you be interested in this product or that product. It means that some of your either a surfing behavior on the websites, or say some number of the other kind of data is being used by those people and they are putting it up. If you're looking for a long term, I shared with you one of the major issue where the competitive advantages can be built in present time. It is by involving and integrating customer with your business operations. And any involvement, any of the integration of the customer has to be say with respect to the integrity of the organization, and say respect for the privacy of the customer, and hence a tremendous amount of the say acceptance of the customer's right to divulge the information must be observed. There are this legal aspects also involved into it. Sooner or later you will have a tremendous set of the new laws will be created for the operations into this new digitized world and digitized setup. But at this point of time, the organizers or say the business entities, they need to showcase respect for the individuality and the privacy of the customers. This much I can say.
Okay, there's one more question from uh, Dr. Shankar. How is the user experience measured in analytics? Is obtaining a feedback from the user will be a good tool, as mostly it is not a willful feedback and very abstract.
Fine. Mr. Shankar, that there are two ways of doing this. That is about the say user experience. First case is that what is the engagement is being created. The engagement is to have the certain metrics. The metrics are that of the navigation of the, if I just take an example with the online shopping or online experience, it is about the sequence of the navigation of the pages and navigation of the customer onto the various platforms. This navigation may be there through the social media platform to the landing page on your website, and from that landing page on the website to that of the various say executionary pages of your websites, and at the end of it what is being delivered. If the navigations are consistent, navigations are having a particular pattern and the trend, so the engaging of the customer is fruitful. There are the exit points, and they are the well exit points for the any of the engagement of the customer. Every engagement will not result into the sales. There may be the say, certain identified exit points, and this exit navigations to be designed on your website. If suppose somebody is coming for the exploration of the products, and so there shall be an understanding that such kind of the navigation will be how it is to be routed. And if this particular navigations are giving you the righteous kind of the information, that the number of the people came over, they followed a particular navigation path on your website, and they had say left in the particular fashion which was being accepted, yes, your measures or say the metric is appropriate, engagement is up, say you can be judged across. It is something that it is called as the, in offline stores it is called as the movement frequency or the touch point frequency. In online mode it is called as the navigation paths followed and the navigation system is being achieved. The conformance of the consumers as a percentage of it, it turns out to be the matrix under these circumstances. If suppose 100 people had came over in that particular kind of navigation, and out of which 85% or 90% has followed this complete navigation, it means that the engagement is appropriate and engagement is right. And so this is how the first part of your, that how this user experience to be measured in analytics, that I tried to answer this particular part of your question. In obtaining a feedback from the users, will it be a good tool, as mostly it is not a willful feedback, and are very abstract. It typically depends on the kind of delight that's being generated to the customer, and a kind of a respect shown to the integrity, or and not the integrity, I shall say, it is the privacy issues of the customer. If you are connecting the customers and then generating a feel good with that particular customers, then only you can expect a quality feedback, else it is going to be a kind of an, say, abstract one, as you said. Another point is, there are some companies who pay to the customer for collecting the feedbacks, but this is not appropriate practice. And so customer feedbacks, maybe they are onto the forums. You can create certain forums and they can get engagement of those customer on those forums, and so, and you can generate the feedbacks. There are some products, they also help you in generating feedbacks. Maybe a refrigerator, something somewhere you sold, but may have an, say, IoT device which may be communicating the kind of user experience with it. You may have the cards, your car, when it goes for the service, there may be a kind of a IoT device, or maybe a kind of a chip which will be deciphering your running pattern to it, and that's how the, say, feedback is collected. So there are the, say, feedbacks which are on user experience, feedbacks on our, with, say, a kind of an say, actually asked to the customer to do it, feedbacks on the basis of the payment to the customer, feedbacks on the basis of say, their delight, and say some number of the discussions forums. And so these are the various methods generally where the feedbacks are being collected from the consumers. But all said and done, a delightful experience and a purposeful engagement, only helps you in collecting the appropriate feedbacks.
Thank you for this answer. There's one more question by Sarim Ahmed. He has asked, should the marketing method be still upgraded or changed if a company is using outdated methods but receiving positive feedbacks from the customers?
Sarim, my only suggestion is change, and change immediately, as early as possible. If you are not changing, you will be ousted from the business.
Yeah.
Say Malaysia, in Malaysia, you may have this certain kind of the vacation time during the year, as we do have in India, as a, we generally call it as the Deepavali time, or say in, say, US or the European countries, it is there as in, say Christmas and New Year time. That's the mass vacation that goes in. China also is having their New Year celebration, and where the mass vacation happens. What is happening since last 5 years in India? I'm giving you the real life example where the Indian situations are there. During this particular Deepavali season, that is one of the dream season for the marketeers in India. The people, they purchase some or other things. Even anyone who's having whatsoever money will go to the market and will make some purchase out there during this festive season. And you will be amazed to understand that these all were the purchases being made from the traditional stores. They were there on the roadsides and they were happening to it. And since last 5 years, almost 25 to 30% business is being taken by the online stores, online shops, Amazon, and the various other such things. Those people were having good enough time 3 years back, 4 years back, but they refused to react to the digital initiatives. They went on doing business that they were having, and the name of that they were having the good connect with the customer, and they can create the satisfaction amongst the customer by relationships, this and that. But ultimately, now there is a threat that more than 25% business will be taken over by these ones in coming years. So you need to imbibe technology in your operations. There is no second thought. You need to create the hedges for your competitive advantages. You need to create competitive advantage and hedge them out with the help of the technology. There is no second thought to it. So please don't wait. React as early as possible and prevent entry of such players in your area, in your business. That's the success mantra.
Thank you so much. There's one more question from Sharon. Yeah, so he has asked, should the marketing method be still upgraded or change if, okay, it's the same question as Sarim. I think we have no other question.
Already I answered this particular question.
Yes. Um, okay, sir. So thank you so much for being with us today. It was wonderful having you here. Uh, and we hope that we will get to see you and we'll get to hear more from you in the future.
Thank you. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to interact. And I hope say these kind of interactions will mutually benefit Asia Pacific University and the Sage University, and we look forward further such interactions in that case. Thanks again. Thank you very much.
Definitely. Thank you so much. So, to all the attendees, thank you for joining, and please do give us your feedback by scanning the QR code. Your feedback is important for us. Thank you all for being with us today. Have a safe day, and yes, thank you so much.